is the fourth session of our KNUCKERS batch in which we are covering full CLAT 2026 syllabus for free. Today's class is of strengthening the argument, so let's start. So first see, why is this session so important? It will help you to understand what is strengthening the argument of a passage is and how you can strengthen the argument in a given passage. And at last we'll be solving few questions based on the previous year pattern of CLAT. Strengthening the argument. Strengthening an argument means providing some sort of extra information to your conclusion, through which your conclusion get more powerful, it get more correct, and we can strengthen the conclusion. This can be done by adding new evidences or facts that supports the conclusion, or by eliminating or reducing the impact of counter arguments or weaknesses in the argument. First, what we have to do, if we add some extra information that is not given in the passage which supports our conclusion, अगर कोई ऐसी information है जो passage में given नहीं है लेकिन हमारे conclusion को और strengthen कर रही है, तो that sentence will strengthen your argument. That will be your correct answer. Or what we can do, we can eliminate the counter arguments or any kind of weaknesses in an argument to make it more correct. We can reinforce the logical connection between the premises and the conclusion. So here is an argument given. The government should increase funding for public transportation. This will reduce traffic congestion in cities. Now we can strengthen this argument in many ways, like we can provide any example through which a country has applied the same model and they have got great results. Or we can add some sort of statistics, or we can draw a comparison between earlier and before and after. So we can do all these things to make our argument more correct, more powerful, and this is what we call as strengthening the argument. Now the question comes, how to strengthen an argument? Step 1. Identify the conclusion. Determine what the argument is trying to prove. Look for keywords like therefore, thus, hence, or so to identify the conclusion. In logical reasoning, the first step of any kind of question you are going to attempt is to find the main argument and the conclusion of a given passage. Because most of your question revolves around conclusion, main idea, main argument, directly or indirectly. So whenever you are solving any logical reasoning question, you have to first find out the conclusion and the main idea or main argument, and then you have to proceed with question solving. Step 2 is identify the premises. You have to just see what are the facts and reasons which are supporting your conclusion. You don't have to learn them, just take a look when you are reading to know that what kind of facts are mentioned in the given passage. Step 3 is to analyze the logical gap. You have to determine if there are any assumptions or gap in the argument. Assumptions are unstated premise that are necessary for conclusion to be held to be true. So you have to do all these things. Step 4 is evaluate the options. Now you have read all the passage, you have read the question. The main thing comes, which is evaluating your options. You have to look for an option that provides additional support to the conclusion, fills the logical gap, or weakens the counter argument. You have to find an option which is strengthening your main conclusion, which is providing more support, making it more correct, and filling all the logical gap, or it is countering the counter arguments. These are the type of options which you have to select. And last step is choosing the best option. You have to select the option which is more effectively strengthen the argument. Now you don't have to choose such options which provide irrelevant information. For example, my passage is talking about women empowerment, but my option is talking about pizza making. So two different genres. So the option will be eliminated because it is talking out of the passage. It is beyond the scope. Okay, so it will be categorized as irrelevant information. So we have to avoid the options that do not directly support the conclusion. Second, weaken the argument. Sometimes options are very complex that we have to find this option which strengthen our argument, but relatively we choose an option which do the opposite. it means weakens the argument. So we have to be very careful not to choose an option that weakens the argument or introduces some any kind of flaws in our argument. And last but most important is overgeneralization. We have to avoid options that are too vague or too broad to provide meaningful support. It means that, if any option there are something given as if there's a sentence, and in that sentence very extreme words are being used like only, everyone, never, everybody, or all these kind of words which overgeneralize or make any option too extreme. So 99% of the times these kind of options are eliminated at the first sight, because overgeneralization is very wrong in logical reasoning. So you have to keep all these things in your mind while you are solving strengthening the argument questions. At last, what you have to do, you have to practice some questions. I have, taught some basic concept about strengthening the argument. Then you have to practice some question in order to make this, topic more clear, so that you can feel more comfortable with this topic. Thank you.